Sergeant of Patrol. 19 Sergeant, check.
Hi and good morning. My name is Cunningham, Lieutenant with Whitman Fire Department. I'm here today to talk about and demonstrate our new self-contained breathing apparatus, we call it SCBA, manufactured by Scott Safety Equipment. Another name we call it is just Scott Air Pack. This is probably one of our most important piece of equipment that we have in the fire service, as it allows us to breathe in a hazardous environment that we go into. So to talk about, this is our new 5.5 or 5,500 PSI bottle and new Scott harness for air pack. Over here to my right is our old equipment. Again, it was a Scott SCBA bottle. This is a 4,500 PSI bottle. That's our major difference between the two. With the new bottle, we have 5,500 PSI, which gives us approximately 45 minutes of breathing air. Now that 45 minutes is based on normal breathing. Obviously in a hazardous atmosphere where we're exerting ourselves, dragging hose lines or pulling ceilings or whatever, we're gonna go breathe a lot heavier and go through that air a lot more quicker. So one major reason we can be in an environment in the building a lot longer with this, but more importantly, we'll have more time to get out of the building should things go bad or we get into trouble. They'll give us more air supply. So basically going over this, we have our bottle, again 5,500 PSI. When we open up the tank, we open it all the way, it goes through its system check. The 5,500 PSI goes into a pressure reducer, which brings it down eventually to our face regulator, which brings it roughly 20 PSI, or just above atmospheric pressure. That makes it a positive pressure system, so when we're breathing, no contaminants can get in. That noise you hear right there is a check of the PASS device, a personal assistance system. So what that is for, if we go down and we are not moving, we get knocked unconscious or whatever, this will go into alarm, and we will send out a signal that we can go in and find the downed firefighter. Also, we can set it off. If we get into a mayday situation, we can activate it, and we don't have to wait for it to go into alarm. We can also silence it to talk on the radio to give our report, to tell the firefighters where we are, and then activate it again. Keep in mind, we're going to be in an environment that is virtually blacked out with smoke. We can't see the hand in front of our face, so we rely very heavily on this piece of equipment to keep us safe and breathing normal air. When we activate the device, we have indications of our air supply, which is something that we train on all the time, making sure that we know our limitations of our air and we know our supply levels at all time. When we have a full bottle, we're going to have 2 green lights. Once we get down to 3/4, it'll go to 1 light, and at half a tank, it'll be yellow. Once it gets down to a red, our low air alarm will go off, which I can demonstrate as I shut down the bottle. As we're moving, there's sensors in this pack that will keep the PASS device from not working. So if we start standing around and not moving, it's going to go off, and we need to move around to get it to stop. So I'm going to shut down the bottle now and bleed it down. And you'll hear the low alarm go off, and that's at probably 33% of the bottle, or 1/3, and you'll hear that going off. When that goes off in the building, that's the time for us to get out. Usually we don't let it go that far. Once we get to a half is the benchmark of when we decide, depending on our situation, whether we're going to stay in the building and keep working, or it's time to get out, depending on how far we're into the building, what kind of work we're doing. So another difference between between the two bottles, and where this one's got a lot more air in it. We also have more safety features with air supply on a harness gauge. It also has lights that when we can see in a dark environment, so we can see other members or other firefighters what their air level is. It also has on the back here buddy lights that will light up and flash. So if we're crawling through a building on our hands and knees, we can see a partner in front of us and keep track of them at all times. So another difference in these is weight. This is slightly heavier than our older bottles, but the comfort level makes up for it with the padding and the harnesses. Our lumbar support now, where it was fixed before, the longer you wear this, the more tiresome it gets and the more you start to feel it on your back. This has a pivoting lumbar area, which will move with you and give you more comfort and durability with the harness. There are batteries compartment here that are put on the side here so they don't get in the way of anything. That controls all the monitoring systems within the equipment. And one other thing to show you is on the hoses. We can we carry an extra bottle with us if we have to. If we have a down firefighter, we have a 1 hour bottle that we use. It's called a Rapid Intervention Team. We can use a bottle of that. If a firefighter gets out of air, we can take that hose, and as soon as I find it, we can hook it right into this port and supply him with air to get him out of the building. So that's another safety. This one had the same thing. It's just a little bit more hidden on this and less likely to get caught on anything in a building, such as wires that fall during a structure fire. So that's pretty much what I have on the new system. This is obtained through a grant that we got through the department. These were about at the end of their life of 15 years, so it came just in time and a well-needed piece of equipment. So here you've been watching Firefighter Ryan Benton get dressed in his turnout gear, his bunker pants and coat. This is another one of our more important pieces of equipment that protect us from the heat in a fire environment and also the toxic smoke. So right now he's going to be donning his SCBA, self-contained breathing apparatus. That's called the over-the-head method. How you don this is a matter of preference. I would say most people do it that way over the head. Other people will use a coat method, just like as you would put on a coat. They'll swing it around their back and put it on. He's doing up his straps, making sure they're secure and that he can easily get at them if he needs to. This is his face mask. As he puts it on, he tightens up the straps, and he's going to make sure he has a very tight seal, and he'll do that by covering the face piece and inhaling. That's making sure that he has no gaps for contaminants of smoke to get in anywhere around his mask. This is his Nomex hood, which covers his ears, his neck, and forehead from any heat and other contaminants in the environment. He'll secure his chin strap. He's already opened his bottle, so he's ready to go for air. And the last thing we do before we go into a building is go on air, so we have every breath we might need in the building. This will not activate until he takes his first breath, right there. And now he's in this is a firefighter dressed in protective clothing and ready to go to work. I want to thank you for watching another segment of Whitman Fire Rescue.